So this is the second part of Linux privilege escalation. In the second part, we're going to carry on the rest of the methods. So first we have here VI editor, cron tab, path variable. So we start with the VI editor. Okay, now for doing the challenge with VI editor, we have to connect with user 8. So here's 2, user 8, password. All right. So as you can see here, the question is how we can use VI to escalate the privileges. Okay, now if you get back, how do you know that VI is really the key to privilege escalation, right? So one of the methods, okay, we type sudo -l, we see what we can do as a privileged user, what we can run. So upon running sudo -l, we can see that we can run VI, the command, the text editor, right, as a root user with no password. This means we have to exploit VI in a way in order to gain root access. So one of the ways is we go to GTFO bins, and look for VI. So VI here, let's see. On sudo, and we have the method. So if the binary is allowed to run as a super user by sudo, it doesn't drop the elevated privileges and may be used to access the file system, escalate, or maintain privileged access. Okay, this is great. So what we need to do, we need to open VI now. Let's get back. No, where am I? Okay. So let's do sudo VI. It will run VI, right? Now at the end, or somewhere, just type colon, exclamation mark, and sh, and save that ID, and you are the root user. Simple as that. Simple as that. So this one is completed. Let's use the sudo -l command. What does this user require to run VI as a root? What does this user required to run VI as a root? No password, right? And yeah, so no pass. So we all need to do is to open VI as root. Fine, fine. Okay. The next one is exploiting the cron tab. Now let's talk about the cron tab a bit. So let's see what is the user we need to use this in this case. Su user 4. So su user 4. Okay, we are user 4 now. Let's take a look at the cron tab. Cat etc cron tab. So this is the cron tab. As you can see here, we have the auto script that is running as a cron job, and as you can see here, it runs every 5 minutes. So here the seconds, minutes, and then you have days, hours, days, month. Okay, that's the formula. So it starts seconds, and here it is 5 minutes, and it's 13 actually, as you can see. So we're running as every 5 minutes. So all we have to do now is to understand how this works. So let's cd to home, user 4, desktop, ls, and this is auto script. Let's see the permissions. So user 4 has the absolute privilege to do whatever he wants with autoscript.sh. So let's see the content of the script also. So the script does what it does is it creates a text file called abc.txt, okay, and echo I will automate the process bash-i. So what if we insert a line in here or modify on the script so that it runs our own shellcode instead or payload? That's how it works. We have to modify the autorun script to run a payload instead of this uh, content, right? Or we have to put the payload at the end of the file. So let's switch to my machine. And here we create a payload. And use R for row. So take this one. This is your payload. Now here we have to create a listener. Get back here and echo the payload into the script. Cat auto. All right, now I should receive the connection after 5 minutes, of course. Let me check. So we actually received the connection ID, and you are the root user. So that is for the next method. So what is the flag to specify a payload in MSF Venom? P. Create, we created. What is the directory? So it is in home user for desktop. Let's replace, we replaced. After copy, we copied. After 5 minutes, we received. We indeed received. Okay. Now the last method, path variable. Now the path variable, as you can see here, we have to connect as user 5. Let's get back and see user 5 to user 5. So exploiting or doing the privilege escalation relying on the path variable, we have to understand that path variable contains the directories, all right, from which when you run any program, any tool on Linux, it would look in the path variable if this tool indeed exists within the path variable directories. So if it does exist, it run the first occurrence. So let's see how this works. So cat path. Let's see, I am not satisfied or directory. What is that? Okay. So this is the path variable, or let's echo. So this is the variable. As you can see, it contains directories, right? Let's say I want to run cat command, and at first it would look where the cat command exists. Does it exist here, here, here? It would run through all of these directories respectively. Okay, when it finds the first occurrence of cat, it would run it. So if it is in here, it would run it from here. If it is in here, it would run it from here. That's how it works. So doing the privilege escalation from path environment variable relies on manipulating or changing the environment variable path. So how to do that? Basically, we have to find an executable file or a binary tool, okay, understand how it works, and see what are the commands it executes. Earlier from the Linux Enum, we found that there is a script or there is a binary that has the suit bit set, which is in the user 4, let me guess, here, script, no. Do we have to change the user here? Let's see. User 5. Let's change to user 5. We are in user 5. Let's go to home, see the user 5. Okay, this is the script. So basically, this tool here has the suit bit set. I know that. But having the suit bit set, we first understand how or what is the content of the script first. Cat script. Let's run it, or ls-li first. So script has the suit bit set. So it run as root, right? So if we run this now, okay, supposedly it should give us root. So script, so nothing, right? What it did, it just listed the contents of the current directory, which is desktop, documents, download, music. So actually what it does ls. The command it executes ls. So now we know that there is a suit bit file running ls. So one of the ways, instead of battling how to get the suit bit file or binary to run as root, okay, we have another way, which is manipulating the path environment variable. Now, technically, the script exists in the, let's see, exists in the home directory or in the user 5 directory. So if we create a payload and we place this payload in a temp directory, right, and we put this payload or we name this payload as a script, the same name, okay, that's the first step. We create a payload which has the same name as script, okay, and then we have to place this payload in a directory that is run before this one. So it would run our own commands instead. So let's create now a file that has the name script. Let's go to temp and now echo. So here we are creating the file. What is inside the file? We want this file to give us shell. Okay. Now our aim here is to run script and take root. Okay, so our aim here is to, when we run script, it would run bash. And when it run bash, it would give us root shell. So bin bash ls. So now we have a file name called ls, right? So why I did ls here? Why I didn't rename it script as I said earlier? So basically, I thought about, renaming this file as a script, but I thought that why wouldn't we name it as ls? Why? Because we want this to run eventually. We will run this. So it's easier to run this, okay, from the user 5 directory and have the script run our ls instead. Okay, so instead of creating a new script and make it run ls, we can have just to create a new ls, okay, and make this script run our ls instead of the original one. So let's see the original ls, where actually does where does it exist? So who or which ls? So ls in bin ls. If we echo the path environment variable now, so bin user bin. Okay, so basically when we run ls normally under normal circumstances, it would run it from this path. Okay, now with ls, with the new ls with the new ls created here, we want to make the temp environment. We want to make the temp path as part of the path environment variable. So that's how it works. So let's first give permissions to ls. Okay, and now export path equal temp. What I'm doing here, I'm exporting that directory temp to be at the very first of the path environment variable. So echo path. See here, temp is the first one. Now, when I run script will try to list the content of the current directory. So it would look for ls, and now the ls, the original one exists here, but our own ls exists here. So the system will run through this path. Because it finds our own ls here, or the directory that contains our own ls is here, happens to be the first one, it will run our own ls. Our own ls retrieves bash or shell. So let's run script now, or go to home user 5 script. See here, it gave us the shell id root. Let's go to user 5 home directory and run define. What command do we think that it is executing? ls. Now we are inside temp. What would the command look like to open a bash shell writing to a file with the name of the executable? So what we did, echo bin bash ls. Wrong answer. Why? Oh, come on. It is the double quotes. Wait, now we have made our imitation. Now we need to make it an executable. What command do we execute to do that? Switch mode. So here, all of them are completed. Fine. What else do we have? These are some resources if you want to expand and extend your knowledge about Linux privilege escalation. Of course, all of the methods here are valid methods commonly used when conducting privilege escalation, but they are not exhaustive lists for exploiting or doing privilege escalation. We have many ways to do that. Some of them are exploiting if the Linux exploiting the kernel version. Sometimes it is vulnerable, so we exploit the version. Sometimes you would find vulnerable service, vulnerable program. You would find a program vulnerable to buffer overflow. Many ways, right? But these are the most common ones. So hit completed and done.